think I recognize her.
What is she from?
This country, every American, every race,
I'll wave.
Hi everyone, this is Allie J. Nikolai with Breitbart News. Behind the camera we have the very talented Matthew Purdy. We are live here in Waukesha, Wisconsin, and baby, it is cold outside. It currently feels 34. People have been out here already early this morning. The crowds are continuing to build here in Waukesha, Wisconsin. Wisconsin being kind of a must-win for President Trump. He won it in 2016, pretty much by a slim margin, but he did win it. And so we're out here. We're going to talk to some people about why they're supporting Trump, their thoughts on Joe Biden and everything that's coming out with him, and what they think of what's coming up in November, just 9 or 10 days away from Election Day. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you want to get this stream out, make sure to like and share, hit that love button on Facebook. You can follow us on all of our social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Thank you so much for all of your support, and we're going to start talking to people. If you guys could tell us your first name, how you spell that, and where you guys are from.
My name's Tara, T-A-R-A. I'm from Vernon, Big Bend area outside of Waukesha.
I'm Connie Kurth, proud member of Rubicon, Wisconsin.
Therese, T-H-E-R-E-S-E, Rubicon?
Oh, I didn't do that.
Or Wisconsin. Oh, now they know.
You guys are good. Awesome. So why are you guys out here in the freezing cold to see President Trump?
We came from Illinois. Yes, and in 2016, we had to go to Indiana to see a rally. So
They're
we had to-
representing.
Yeah.
Represent well. You have to say your
There's
name.
nothing in Illinois. My name is Cindy.
Yeah, so why do you guys support President Trump? Why are you here today?
Well, this is a warm day for Wisconsin, so we are here because we love Trump, and there's no one like him. There's no one like him.
Freedom.
He's a businessman, not a
He doesn't win.
crappy
We lose
politician.
our freedom of speech.
Best president of our generation. He's rolled back regulation. He's got the economy going. There's nobody like him. I mean, there's nobody that can work a crowd like Trump. I mean, this is a party. It's awesome.
His energy is positive, and that's what we need. Positivity to get through our lives, or the world. I support him all the way.
He's a Christian man. He's a
Right.
Christian man. He's on his faith. He has a faith for the people of America. We need a president that wants to stand up for our
All
country.
colors.
God bless America. God bless the USA. Thank you, Trump. You are God's gift to America.
Right.
And the world. And the world.
So a way that people kind of figure out if the president will be reelected is the question of, are you better off 4 years ago than you are now? So my question is, are you guys better off 4 years than you were? And if so, how and why, and how has President Trump improved it?
We're better off because our military's the strongest in the world. Our tax cuts make us all rich. The poor come up. The rich get richer. Who cares? Everyone gets rich. We're better off because we got a man who cares about us, not just a swamp dragon.
And
We're better.
international.
Go ahead.
Oh, you go. You're good. You're pretty good. Internationally, we're not doing any wars. He's got 4 peace treaties.
Exactly.
More than 4.
Yes.
But yeah.
And 3 Nobel Prizes he should win, right?
3 Nobel Prizes he's nominated for. Success.
We're better off because we finally have a president who's stood up to China. China has been, if we don't get a handle on China, they're going to take over this world. And he's finally stood up to China. He's put tariffs on them, and finally, hopefully, the Chinese Communist Party, they're going to break the backs of them in the second term of Trump.
China's back pocket.
Yeah, Joe Biden he's been taking money from China for years, and if Biden
he
wins,
didn't take it directly. He got it through his
he went
son
through the back door.
and
But
his brother.
if Biden wins, China will own this country, guaranteed.
And he saves our children. Our youth of America are what we need to worry about. They are what is going to be our future. So he has saved our children. He has helped our children for their future, and with taxes, he will save our our future with our taxes as well, like he's done now.
Right?
He also helps Medicare. He's keeping the prices down. Our insurance is as good whether people agree or not. I was on Obamacare. Believe me, they paid nothing. I paid $3,000 more on my knee. They paid nothing. Sure, they're great. Obamacare is great if you don't care to. If you don't get sick.
Yep, if you don't get sick, exactly.
So something that you mentioned now is this revelation of these emails coming from allegedly Hunter Biden's computer. Now, a lot of the mainstream media is saying, "Oh, like this is Russia disinformation." What's your reaction to the media trying to put this as Russia disinformation?
I don't understand what Russia has to do with this laptop and these 3 cell phones. Russia has nothing to do with these. These are American cell phones, and they're traced back to the people that have proven to use them for dishonest things.
Yeah, my reaction is, I mean, this has been going on for years and years and years, and you know, I really think that Joe Biden is probably the most corrupt person to ever seek the presidency. I mean, I used to think Hillary Clinton was the most corrupt. What's come out about Joe Biden, I mean, this is earth-shattering, and it's really bad. He shouldn't even be a candidate. So
Exactly.
He should be kicked out.
Kicked
That's all I
out for
can say.
corruption.
For corruption.
Pure corruption. And on a computer and social media has come so far in this world and in this country that it is the truth. That's where the truth lies. It lies in social media. It lies in our computer systems. If we don't see it through there, where are we going to see it?
Well, we won't see it because big tech is blocking everything that is anything to the right. It's being censored. So people have to watch like Breitbart to get the information.
yeah.
Right, but
Thank you, Breitbart.
right. Sorry.
Absolutely. That's
Thank
where
you,
we get our
thank you.
information. That's
Again,
where the
God
truth
bless
is.
America. We love our
God bless
President Trump,
America.
and we hope he's in there for 4 more years.
4 more years. Say it. 4 more years.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for chatting with us. We really appreciate it.
It's nice to meet you in person.
Yeah. Pleasure to meet you. Thank you. Keep up the good work.
Thanks so
Keep up
much.
the truth and the facts.
Actually, we'd like him for 8 years, but I don't
8
think that's
years would be
possible.
great. Not
8 more.
just 4.
8 more.
8 more. I want a picture of that. I'm a very spiritual woman, so I get deep with that. Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you.
And baseball for my crimes. There's potential that the judge can sentence me up to.
Allie. Allie.
Give you what you deserve. And he gave me
You guys come over here?
Just a little bit closer. Oh, yeah. So we
We can't come over the fence, so you have to get close enough for us to hear you because of megaphone.
All
Okay,
right.
go ahead.
Awesome. So we are joined here with some more Trump supporters. If I could just have your first names, how you spell it, and where you guys are from.
I'm Dave from Waukesha.
Laura from Waukesha,
FBI specialist.
Wisconsin. Awesome. So why are you guys out here? It's pretty cold. I'm originally from Minnesota. No, this is nice. This has been a shock. Yeah, you guys are ready. Why are you guys out here supporting President Trump? I mean, hours before his rally here.
the president has done a great job this year, or the past 3 years, and I can't see any reason why anybody wouldn't support him. I mean, it's the craziness in Washington, just nuts, and I don't approve of it.
I think it's great to be around people who have the same belief that you have, and the strong convictions that President Trump gives us. I think the atmosphere is going to be awesome. So
I agree with the like-minded people being here. It's great, and it's a once-in-a-lifetime experience. I don't want to miss it. We've missed a few already, and I want to be here for this one.
So we have a lot of viewers that are from Wisconsin, but also viewers that are outside of Wisconsin. If you guys could just kind of give our audience kind of what you guys are seeing here in Wisconsin with energy for President Trump, maybe things that you guys are talking to people about and what they're saying about this upcoming election.
I think it depends what location you're in, but I think it's off the charts as far as the enthusiasm for Trump. But I think it kind of depends on what section of the state you're in. And obviously that varies heavily, but it's been great.
I agree, totally.
I mean, there's a lot of Trump support, and I've got friends that are Biden supporters, and it just seems like you can't have a real civil conversation anymore about anything. They're way there, and so that's kind of disappointing.
Now, we had a debate coming up this past Thursday, and I just want to get your guys' reactions to that, how you thought both Joe Biden and President Trump did.
I thought President Trump did fine. I don't think Biden embarrassed himself like many expected, and but there are a lot of mistruths by Mr. Biden, that have come out, and it's just not right.
I agree with that. I think with Joe Biden being in the basement, you really didn't know his policies. You hear things, and I guess watching them both together, I thought was real knowledgeable, and got to see another side of him that makes me vote for Donald Trump all the more. So.
Yeah, I mean, I felt Trump won, but if you listen to both sides, which I try to do, a lot of people said they thought Biden won. I thought they both did a pretty good job. The fact that everyone thought the moderator was going to be way left, I thought she did an okay job also. But I thought it was good all the way around. I thought Trump won, and I think a tipping point is going to be the bombshell with Hunter. I think that's going to be the tipping point in this election.
So on that note, during the debate, Vice President Biden said that he has not taken a penny from any foreign source. Coming out with the revelations that we're seeing with all these stories about Hunter Biden and his dealings, what are your thoughts on that statement?
I don't believe that. They have the proof. You have the phones, you have the emails. I mean, you can't hide away from that. That's the truth, and I think it's another lie. I'm sorry, it is another lie that's out there. So I don't believe them at all.
The media not covering it, I think it's just terrible. I mean, how can you not let people make their own decisions? Let us hear what the facts are, and then we'll make our decision. Hiding the facts is wrong. Especially by Facebook and Twitter. It's just not right.
It's not ever going to come back to Joe. So if anyone's going to take the fall for the old man, it's going to be Hunter. I think we're pretty aware of that. I think that's unfortunately that's what's going to happen. And yeah, I think he's been pretty untruthful with this whole deal. So I mean, I guess we'll see when all the investigations come out, and no matter what happens with the election, I think the investigation is going to continue. So we'll find out in due time, I think.
If you guys could, if you were able to talk to President Trump face to face, what would you guys like him to know, and what would be your message to him?
Oh, he's got my support 100%. I want 4 more years of Trump. I worked too hard for my IRA and everything that I don't want it to go away, and as a lot of people have, so I support him 100%. And his wife.
Keep up the good work. I mean, he's done such a good job. Foreign policy, our IRA is, was so bad the 8 years before that, keep up the good work, no matter how hard it is, because I know it's hard for you.
I guess I got to say the same thing, is just keep up doing the things you're doing. I think the biggest revelation with Trump, kind of being an outsider, is the fact that he has brought to light a lot of things in Washington that people don't know about, and it's been coming forward and it's been coming to light, and I want him to keep that up.
Of all murders in Chicago,
That's true. I think because he's not a politician, he's an American, and I'm interested to find out what else is out there that should be coming out from all these politicians in Washington. I really am, because I think there's more out there that we don't know of that hopefully come out, I guess.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for your time. We really appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you.
The line just jumped up about 150 people probably in the past 10-20 minutes.
Looks like they're packing up.
Yeah, they're being forced out. That's what the one lady said.
Breitbart.
And then,
I am your president. In order. America is founded upon the rule of law. It is the foundation.
Looks like a fake news.
there is CNN. These spreaders, they're not
During violent
Not a worry. Awesome. So we are joined here with more Trump supporters here in Waukesha, Wisconsin. If I could just have your guys' first name and how it's spelt and where you guys are from.
I'm Mike. This is Bill. B-I-L-L. Julie.
Julie.
Danielle. Ron. Zach.
So why are you guys out here? It's pretty cold, and you guys here are, hours and hours before. What brings you guys out here so early?
Support the prez.
Just
got a great message.
Works hard for us.
Yeah.
The least we can do.
And this is a heat wave. This is Wisconsin, so it's balmy weather. Even had people tailgating back there. So,
you know, the spirit that it brings, the rallies like this, it's amazing. It reminds me back in 9/11 when the country was so unified, and now we're seeing that again at something like this with the Trump rally. This president is unifying people, and it's exciting to get behind that.
Now, a big question that is asked kind of the country every time a election happens is, are you better off 4 years than you were 4 years ago? And so that's the same question to you guys. Are you guys better off 4 years ago? And if so, how has Trump helped that come about?
Well, for me personally, and that without a doubt, I'm better off than I was 4 years ago. I'm a small business owner, and when Governor Evers shut the state down and forced me out of business for 16 weeks, and that it was very difficult on my business. And now with all the new stimulus and everything else that President Trump has helped me with, it's been wonderful to get my business back up and running and be able to serve my community that I've been working with.
And what's your business, if you just want to explain it a little bit for our viewers?
Sure. I own my own business. I'm a clinical cosmetologist, natural look salon and wigs. I work with cancer, alopecia, and thinning hair patients.
and help them replace the hair that they've lost, restore their beauty again, educate them on all the physical changes that will happen in their bodies from chemo or treatments.
Now, there's kind of been a back and forth in D.C. with Nancy Pelosi and trying to get a deal. So, and they haven't been able to agree to a deal. What is your reaction to Democrats trying to kind of stop the stimulus and helping? I mean, so many Americans like you.
They need to remember who are their voters, who put them in office. It's us, the American people, that we are talking, and they need to start listening.
I would say focus on what matters, focus on the issue at hand, and quit trying to draw in other things that they want to tackle. Do that work after the fact. Work after the fact and continue to work, but don't put it above what's most important right now.
Now, we had a debate last Thursday, and I just want to get your guys' reaction here on the ground, your thoughts on Biden's performance as well as Trump's performance there.
This is the debater. He was on the debate team in college. That's his question.
Yeah, no, I thought that President Trump did an excellent job in the debate last week. I thought the moderator for the first time we saw do a fair job for both candidates, which was very nice to see. But I thought it was amazing where Vice President Biden, he wants to eliminate the fossil fuel industry. We're going to get rid of petroleum? Really? I mean, there are states that live by that. There are tens of thousands of people that's their job. That's just not it's all over the United States. We can't go in that direction. We were, especially after COVID and what's happened to this country with the economy dropping so severely, we're on a rise back. If he gets in office, he's going to push us further down than where we are today. We can't have that.
Now, it's something that Biden and kind of this past week has kind of been circulating is this Hunter Biden, the emails, the laptop, the phone. Now, Vice President Biden in the debate said that he has not taken a penny from any foreign source, coming from the revelations that are coming from this laptop. What are your thoughts on that statement?
It doesn't mean the family hasn't, and it doesn't mean that he hasn't benefited from it.
Or arranged it. So crooked as the day is long, in my opinion. And I think they all need to be held accountable, because if it was any other normal American, they'd already be in jail sporting an orange jumpsuit. And as a voter, I'm tired of seeing these politicians get away with it.
There's international codes of conduct for conducting business. If businessmen acted the way Joe Biden's family has acted, they'd be put in jail, and people do get put in jail for that. You know, you cannot do that. You cannot have, when I'm in business, and when I do business, I have to fill out forms that none of my family is in government. If I'm going into another country and trying to do business with that country, I have to declare that. Those international codes of ethics that you have to follow, they're clearly breaking that. You know, it's clear to me that he's got it set up with his son being a bag man to collect the money, his brother being a bag man to collect the money. I mean, it's their family, and they're out collecting the money, and he's got the power, and he stands behind them to support them and to take action as the people that are paying for the actions that they want him to do. The family comes forward and gives them the message, and then he goes ahead and does that. We can't trust that. That's not what people do in public office. No, he more needs to be explored on this, and we need to take it a step further and prosecute those in government that are doing that. That's why President Trump is in office. It's a swamp. He nailed it on the head. It is a swamp, and we got to start cleaning it up.
Absolutely. If you guys could sit down with President Trump and have a cup of coffee, what would you want to tell him and want him to know?
I would like to thank him for what he's done globally, not only with not getting us into war, but also signing a lot of different peace treaties and making sure that we're doing right globally. Even though he puts America first, he isn't shutting his eyes to how important our relations are across the world.
Well said.
Definitely, I would love to thank him for all of his hard work. I don't know how he has the stamina every single day at 74 years old to be able to do that. He's got 20 years on me, and I don't think I could do that. Proud of him.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for chatting with us. We really appreciate it. Thank you.
No lines, right?
So it wasn't even on all night.
I love that taxi. Yeah, you're sitting there putting up with lectures for people who are so dumb. Don't know what they're doing. And immediately cuts to them. Yeah.
Great. So we are joined once again with some Trump supporters here in Waukesha, Wisconsin. If you could just tell us your first name, how you spell it, and where you're from.
Julie, Julie, Milwaukee.
Awesome. So it's early. I mean, hours before President Trump is here. What brings you out here so early?
Just to show my support and to see the whole just see the whole experience and to just see Trump in person.
Now, what really garners your support for President Trump? What has he done in the past 4 years that you really stand behind him on?
He's just common sense. Right, exactly. He's not like the liberals who don't ever find a solution for anything. And he just actually finds solutions and has done the most that any president that I've ever been alive has done.
Now, kind of for our viewers that are, all over the country, can you give us just a little bit of what you're seeing around Milwaukee when it comes to support for Trump and this area in Wisconsin, which is a huge battleground state for him this election cycle?
If it's Milwaukee, the city itself, we're not stupid enough to put our signs out to get our house burned down. So, if it's Waukesha, it's a different story. So.
If you could sit down with President Trump and just have a talk with him, what would you like him to know? What would
Thank you for fighting for our country and for fighting for what our country was founded on.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Julie. Very much appreciate it. Awesome. Thank you.
Wow. Like the whole COVID thing had started. Yeah. And I basically was sick for like 3 days. And I was basically like, it was your fault because you were overwhelmed and then they shut down the country and blown way out of proportion. That's funny.
Yeah, we're little kids for Trump choir.
Yes, we are joined once again with some more Trump supporters. If you could tell us your first name, how you spell it, and where we're from.
Tyler, Tyler. I am from Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Awesome. And so what brings you out here, hours before President Trump is set to have his rally?
Just want to make sure that we got in, didn't want to be in a reserved crowd. We want to be able to see the president and show our support. I've never been to a Trump rally and seen him in person. I've watched a lot of them on YouTube, but I'm pretty excited to be able to see him in person.
Wow. And just so far, what has kind of been your experience, the people that you're meeting here? Just kind of give a general overview of your first thoughts at your first Trump rally this morning.
Diverse. Everyone of any type of race, ethnicity, sex, anything. And it's just a great thing to see that there is camaraderie and patriotism still alive and well in America.
So what brings you to support President Trump? What are some things that you've seen and kind of your story behind your support for President Trump?
Well, I'm not in the highest tax rate right now, but if I ever were to be, I don't want it to be at 60.4%, which is what Biden's tax rate would be in Wisconsin. I think that that's ridiculous when you look at the other states and their highest tax rates as well. It's not realistic, it's not livable, and it's socialism. And I will never support that. I don't agree with it. And I know how to spend my money and help my community more than Biden or Kamala Harris know how to.
So you mentioned a little bit before we started talking to you about this Gays for Trump. If you could just kind of explain now, this is kind of a new phenomenon, as a lot of people in that community are starting to support Trump. From that point of view in that community, what are you seeing among the people in that community about their support?
You know, I think that Republicans in general have been stereotyped into this sexist, homophobic, racist, all the things that they, throw at Trump every single day, and it's just not true. When you actually follow the context of what Trump's actually said in the past, none of it's true. He's said since the 90s, in the early 2000s, I don't care what gender is, what your sexual orientation is, if you do a good job and work hard, I want you working for me. I want you to prosper because you're going to prosper me, and that's what he's doing in the country as well. He doesn't care that I am married to a man. He doesn't care. When you go back and look at other people's comments in the past, they seem to have been pretty opposed to it. Joe Biden, Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama all were opposing gay marriage until 2013. So, it's pretty hypocritical for them to try to point a finger at Trump when they're the ones on public record being in Congress saying these things.
So we had a debate on Thursday, and I just want to get your reaction on how both of the candidates performed.
I think Trump had a couple really good hits on Biden. There were a couple things I thought he could have gone a little bit stronger on, but overall he was calm, he was collected. He really got the point across, he got the message across without overbearing on Biden. He let Biden, let the gaffer gaff, and that's what he let do. So I thought it was a very strong performance by Trump. Biden really shot himself in the foot a couple times when he went against fracking, when he went against the oil industry. There were some big parts that Biden, wasn't supposed to say things, and he let him slip.
Right. So. And now one of the things that Biden said was that he has not taken a penny from any foreign source. Now, with all this stuff that's coming out about his son Hunter Biden, this alleged laptop and emails and phones, what is your reaction to that statement?
I think politicians are very good at semantics. I've never personally taken any money from a foreign entity, but we have millions and millions on record going to Hunter Biden, and I'm sure if you see transfers going from Hunter Biden's account to Joe Biden's account. So technically he didn't take any money from a foreign entity, but you still got that money from somewhere, and in the long run it was from a foreign entity. So it's, you can say that it's not from the actual foreign source all you want, but your son had no qualifications to be getting millions of dollars handed to him, and you ended up with a good cut of that. Or I don't know how you made that $16 to $17 million after you were in office.
And my last question is, if you were able to sit with President Trump and talk to him one-on-one, what would you like him to know, and what would you say to him?
I'd say thank you. Thank you for being patient enough to show more of America that you aren't these things that they've been saying about you for the past 3.75 years, that you are not xenophobic, that you are not racist or homophobic or sexist. You've really shown that you want anyone and everyone in this country to prosper, and I greatly appreciate it. I was not as avid of a supporter in 2016. I felt lesser of two evil, and I can proudly say I'm a proud, strong Trump supporter today.
Well, thank you guys so much for chatting with us, Tyler. I hope you guys have a great rally. Awesome. Thank you.
appreciate what you do, though. You can interview him.
Just a conversation. You ask me.
Awesome.
Let's go the other way.
Awesome. We are joined here with another Trump supporter here in Wisconsin. If I could just have your first name, how it's spelled, and where you're from.
Joe, from Milwaukee, J-O-E.
Awesome. So we're out here hours before President Trump is set to arrive. What brings you out here so early in support of President Trump?
Kind of a father and son outing. Here to, do the mail bonding thing and support our president, support our country.
Now, a big question that kind of goes all around the country when an election happens is, are you better off from 4 years ago? So that's my question. Are you better off from 4 years ago? And if so, how has President Trump helped you?
Oh, better off, big time better off. Switched jobs, no worries, about a year ago before all the pandemic hit and all that stuff. Yeah, doing very well now. Previous to that, struggling, wasn't able to keep savings and all that stuff, and now I'm starting to build a little nest egg again. Doing good.
If you were able to sit down with President Trump and have a one-on-one, what would you like him to know and what would you like to say to him?
That in America, most people are good. It's the media you can't trust.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Joe, for chatting with us today. We very much appreciate it.
Nice to meet you. Thank you.
Nice meeting you.
As long as I can get a picture with you guys.
Oh, of course.
Okay.
So we're joined here with some more Trump supporters in Waukesha, Wisconsin. If I could get your guys' names, your first names, how it's spelled, and where you guys are from.
Okay. My name is Steve. And do I speak with you or to the camera? The last guy wanted me to just talk to him and not the camera. Okay, my name is Steve, and last name is Rehborg.
Where you're from?
From DeForest, Wisconsin, which is like a suburb of Madison. So kind of in the lion's den, I like to call it.
Yeah, and so for a lot of our viewers, I mean, many of them are watching here from Wisconsin, but I mean, from all over the country, if you could just give us just a little bit of the profile of what you're seeing in your area with support for President Trump, the energy for the election overall.
You know, in my area, you know, it's a very liberal town, city of Madison and its surrounding suburbs, and a lot of, I would say a lot of angry, if they notice that I have my Trump flag or whatever, you get a lot of grief and a lot of bad looks and people flipping you off and stuff like that. So it's just, it's unbelievable. I wore my Trump hat to the grocery store. My wife's like, wear the Trump hat to this store. I'm like, I don't know if I want to do that. Are you sure you want to do that? She goes, yes. So we went there and it's kind of sad, how the point of view of that we have is not even just, you're demonized. So, yeah.
Are there any other experiences that you've experienced around Madison where it's gotten pretty contentious because of your support for President Trump, or maybe even in personal relationships?
Well, obviously in personal relationships, you can see that on Facebook. You can see the attacking, and people unfriending you, and stuff like that. That is definitely noticeable now. Am I worried that I'm going to have my house set on fire, or probably not. But there was a lady that lived on East Washington Avenue, and this was like a year ago even, and they spray painted her house. They stole her flags. Yeah, it's right, pretty much a couple blocks away from the state capitol. And so I know a lot of people, a lot of conservatives are moving out of Madison, and rightly so because of all the riots down. My wife used to be a Democrat, and so she was a union carpenter, and now, all of a sudden now, I'm sorry, so now, she saw all the government overreach. She saw these mandates, mass mandates, shutdowns, and her friends are losing their businesses, on the brink of losing their businesses, and then on top of these riots like in Kenosha and stuff like that, Kenosha's any town USA, it can happen anywhere. So this really woke her up, and now I wish I could show you some pictures, because now she is like the strongest Trump supporter. It's like she found Jesus, and so I know she wishes she could be here, because she would be the best spokesperson, and I love to be able to give you guys her testimony, but I wish she could be here.
With your wife being involved in the unions, and we've been kind of seeing this where I'm originally from in Minnesota with the Iron Range and all those unions. According to her, has there been anyone else like in her line of business that has flipped from that Democrat to Trump?
They want to save their jobs. They won't come out outright, and they just go, we voted for Trump. It is definitely hush hush, because they don't want to lose their jobs. She is actually working non-union now, and due to COVID, she didn't have a job. Now she's working non-union. She loves it. It's a different atmosphere. Yeah.
Unfortunately, COVID happened, but a big question that comes out during election season is, are you better off from 4 years ago? And so that would be my question. And if so, how has Trump helped that come about?
The tax cuts were huge. They were huge. And I was so proud when that legislation passed, and I could, I was like, okay, I want to see how this affects my paycheck, and then, I could see the difference in my paycheck, and then I would go to my coworkers at work, and they were like, oh, this is no big deal. I'm like, do you even look at your paycheck? Do you even see what they take out of for taxes? I'm like, I challenge you. You're gonna save yourself. You're saving yourself. I forget what the number was. I think it's like, what, $1,200? That's $100. That's $100 a month. That you have extra in your pocket. And I don't know, if you don't want that $100, I'll gladly take it from you. If you don't want to give it to me.
So what's your reaction? We saw a popular, I think it was Ice Cube, come out and say, screw Biden, I'm voting for Trump because of these insane tax policies that Biden is coming in. 50 cent. The 62%. What is your reaction to people still voting Biden after seeing his tax plans in reality?
I think that they obviously aren't paying attention. They're blinded by their strictly hatred for Donald Trump. And I can't think of, I don't know. I've never seen anybody, this is the fourth rally I've been to now. Okay, I've never heard of anybody at a Biden rally screaming USA, USA. They're not enthusiastic. I'm living proof. I've been to like 3 in this year and 1 2 years ago, and it's such a wonderful experience. Meeting people that have a smile on their face. They're happy to be here. They're happy to wait in line for hours to see their president. And I've told these people, if there was a hallway full of broken glass, they'll run through that barefoot, for their president. It's Trump supporters. So, absolutely.
Now, something else that Biden mentioned, we had the debate on Thursday, but he said that he has never taken a penny from any foreign source, coming out with these revelations with Hunter Biden and the laptop and cell phones. What's your reaction to that comment?
Well, clearly we have evidence. And the fact that he's not even denying it, should speak volumes. So I hope that the American people are paying attention. That's the only thing I really hope.
If you could talk to President Trump one-on-one, what would you want to say to him?
Well, I was just telling these people this, okay? I view him as a father figure. I think he's just a wonderful person. And I'm not a bro hug person, but I would walk up to him like, listen, man, I know you're immune now, so come on, come in for a big bro hug. You know, that's what I would say. I love you. I love what you've done for this country, and you love this. You obviously love this country. You don't need to be here, so that's what I would do. I would ask for that bro hug.
Last note, will Wisconsin turn red on November 3rd?
If you ask me, it won't have to turn. It is red. So, absolutely, there's no. You see all the support and the turnout to these rallies and stuff like that. I'm not worried, at all.
Well, thank you so much for chatting with us.
I get a picture with you?
Yeah, of course.
Looks like the line's growing a little bit now. It's outside the fenced area.
Hi everyone, I'm Allie J. Nikolai. Thank you so much for tuning in to Breitbart News. Behind the camera is the wonderful Matthew Purdy. If you're just joining us, we are live here in Waukesha, Wisconsin, where there are hundreds and hundreds of Trump supporters lining up for his 7 o'clock rally tonight. It is cold, baby, it is cold outside. We are in the 30s. A lot of people have mentioned that, hey, this is actually pretty nice weather, which being from Minnesota, it actually is. So we're out here for a great night. We're busy talking to some supporters and asking why they're here. They're well. You can hit that share button as well. Get the word. All of these. You know where to find it. All of your supporters.
Is not what people say about him. He is so much more than what he perceives to be.
Amen, sister.
And he is led by God, filled with God, and he's moving with God. And I will support that man through and through, no matter what.
So we have an audience kind of from all over the country. If you guys could just kind of give a little snapshot of what you're seeing in Illinois, in your area for support for Trump, or just in support for what you're seeing there.
Yeah, Pritzker, yeah. It's totally different from there to here, like totally different. And it's just like a dark cloud. I mean, and you come here and it's like, wow, the sky's opened up. There's like Trump signs everywhere, and down there it's all Biden. And I'm like, yeah. So I just keep pressing in, and because I'm such a huge supporter, I got so many Republican signs in my front yard, and I'm pro-life because I'm an abortion activist for abortion, and I'm with Pro-Life Action League out of Chicago, and I have pro-life signs in my yard and a humongous Trump sign, and like a house on the hill, and I live right behind a Catholic parish. I had the Catholic priest come to my door last Saturday and thank me for having those signs in my front yard. And I'm like, wow, that is just totally speaks volumes. because he's like, thank God it wasn't a Biden sign. And I'm like, yes, hallelujah. So I was preaching to that man because I'm an evangelist and I'm a pastor. So I get it, you know, and I'm like, there needs to be more voices. You know, the church especially needs to raise up and speak against these things, because there are people in the Catholic Church that are Democrats. And I'm like, how is that possible? And he said they're not allowed to preach or talk about those things. And I'm like, that's what's wrong with our church. It needs to stand and take a stand, because there's too many people falling at the wayside. Babies are being slaughtered. 60 million babies. It's wrong. And so, yeah, we have to be more passionate for the foundation, where it lies. And babies is where it all is at. And when you have a president that stands up for that, that is huge, huge. And I will always stand up for a man, especially for our country, that supports babies, because I've had an abortion and I know what it's like. And I don't wish that on anybody. And it's a bunch of lies. So I stand 100% behind Trump. And I love Jesus more than anything, but I love that man because he stands for the right things. And we need to stand for him. There needs to be more people standing for him. And if you are a faith believer in Jesus Christ, you need to come and vote for that man and not be afraid, because this is a fear tactic. And we need to not allow that fear in.
But even after crossing the border, it was a night and day difference. We're like Trump country, signs after sign after signs for Trump. Where we're at, there's a lot of Democratic signs, you know, and like she said, it's very dark. That's a good way to put.
Really dark.
You know, being in Illinois and sitting under a governor who's a tyrant and a dictator, we feel like we're suffocating.
And for someone that stands up for abortion, oh my gosh, when he did that, he signed an order last Friday to push full-term abortion. I'm like, oh my gosh, are you kidding me? We need to come against that evilness and
now.
Oh, tremendous. I just lost my job in June,